Hey, this is Scott Travis. So yesterday I had a huge honor of getting the Paul Hansell Award for Distinguished Achievement in Journalism from the Florida Society of News Editors. It was a great honor. And my editors actually asked me beforehand if I could prepare a speech to share with the audience. So I was a little bit nervous about doing that, but I said I'll work on something. And I attended last year when Brittany Wallman won the award, and she gave a phenomenal speech. And it was awe-inspiring. And I said, there's no way I can do as good of a job as she did, but I will do my best. So I started working on a speech. Actually, it's Scott Maxwell from the Orlando Sentinel is a co-recipient of the award, and he contacted me the day before and asked me if I was writing a speech, and I said, sure, I'm working on one. So I was ready, at least I thought. So we get to the ceremony, they call my name, and no speech. They do not put time in the program for any of the award recipients to make speeches. So I did not get to do that. A little bit of a disappointment, but still a great honor. But I thought, what am I gonna do with this speech? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go on and read it, and then I'll share it with people on social media. So here goes. Thank you to FSNE for this great honor, and it's a thrill to share it with Scott Maxwell, whose work I've admired for many years. I'd like to share this quote with you. Bad habits and corrupt practices often return when the light of inquiry is turned off. That was a 2011 grand jury report investigating the Broward County School District. The grand jury knew what it was talking about. I started covering Broward schools not too long after that report was released, and it was one of the first things I read when I started covering them. And that quote, it stayed with me, and it motivated me to never stop watching. I watched people lie and obfuscate and fail to answer my questions and fail to turn over public records. I watched them wait years to do any work on a school renovation program while kids were sitting in decaying, moldy buildings, but they told the public everything was on track. So when the massacre at Marjory Stoneman Douglas happened in 2018, and the school district insisted there was nothing they could have done differently to stop or mitigate the tragedy, I knew they weren't telling the truth. As you probably know, the Sun-Sentinel did some great work exposing the failures of both the Broward School District and the Broward Sheriff's Office, and forced some major changes. And we won just about every major award you can think of, including the Pulitzer Gold Medal for Public Service. I was honored to be a part of that. It would have been easy after that to move on to a new career, and I considered it. But I also knew bad habits and corrupt practices return when the light of inquiry is turned off, and there is more to uncover. So I kept watching and investigating. Over the next few years, my work at the Sun-Sentinel helped uncover unethical behavior related to technology contracts, caps and gowns, and data breaches. These led to criminal investigations, indictments, audits, and terminations, all because somebody was watching closely. I've stayed in this profession for 30 years, not because the pay is great, it's not, or the hours are great, they're not, or not because people love you, they don't. The reason I stay around is I get the satisfaction of knowing I do work that makes a difference. The Founding Fathers did not give me a First Amendment so I could cover car accidents or festivals or rewrite press releases. They gave me this constitutional right to shine a light of inquiry, to hold our government and other institutions accountable, to tell stories that they don't want us to tell, and hopefully force them to do a better job for their citizens. I'm troubled by the trend we've seen in the industry over the years with job cuts and layoffs. I'm sad that so many talented people, some of my good friends, have either been forced out or they have chosen to leave journalism. But what I'm more sad about is the impact that has had to our communities. We know what happens when there aren't journalists to shine a light on bad behavior. Crimes go unsolved. Police misconduct gets covered up. Sexual abusers or traffickers prey on one victim after the next. Politicians pad their pockets. Serial liars and criminals get elected to public office. With all the rapid changes and potential abuses of power we see in Florida, we need journalists more than ever. Unfortunately, there are probably fewer of us than ever. If there's one positive aspect to our industry challenges, it's maybe we're starting to learn to focus and realize we can't be all things to all people. and we don't need to do PR for the agencies we cover. They have plenty of money to do that themselves. I would encourage all of you, whatever resources you have, to keep a commitment to accountability and watchdog journalism. Our democracy depends on it. Thank you again for this wonderful honor.